Working principle of double shaft shredder. First, the material enters the hopper. There it is grabbed by many, or dozens, cutter heads with specially shaped teeth, crushed, then pulled down and sent to the discharge, or to a special separation screen if provided by the bundle middle. The cutting knives move relative to each other, thus crushing the material to the desired proportions. The knife is cleaned with a side plate, and due to the shape of the disc, the material is poured down. The most common use of twin shaft shredders is to shred soft plastics, tires, elastomers, rubber products, and other elastic materials. 撕碎机。The gear pump conveys the liquid by a pair of intermeshing gears that cause the change of the working volume during the intermeshing process. The gears are installed in the pump casing, and the two gears are respectively fixed on their respective shafts with keys, one of which is the driving gear, which is connected with the prime mover shaft. The other is the driven gear. When the driving gear rotates and drives the driven gear to rotate, the liquid is moved by the gear, and the liquid in the suction pipe is divided into two paths along the space enclosed by the tooth slot and the inner wall of the pump casing, and is forcibly brought to the pressure with the rotation of the gear. Out of the tube, the meshing part of the gears separates the low pressure area of the suction pipe from the high pressure area of the extrusion pipe, so that the liquid will not flow back and play a sealing role. The gap between the top of the gear and the housing is very small, about 0.1 毫米, which can prevent the liquid from leaking from the high pressure area to the low pressure area. Due to the high-speed rotation of the gear, a part of the liquid is discharged every time one tooth is rotated, so the discharge volume of the gear pump is relatively uniform. 齿轮 Springs are not uncommon in our lives and are used in many occasions. It is precisely because of the characteristics of springs that spring machines were invented. There are many types of spring machines, including computer spring machines. As an electrical appliance, spring machines are, of course, it is used in the machinery industry, and it is very useful. But many people may not have a very detailed understanding of it, let alone how it works. Don't worry. Today I will share with you the working principle of the spring machine. The working principle of the spring machine. It is a device that presses the steel wire by one or two pairs of feeding wheels, and drives the steel wire to move forward in a straight line with the rotation of the feeding wheel. The same, but the rotation direction is opposite. The feeding wheel rotates once. The feeding length is the perimeter of the feeding wheel. The expansion length of the spring can be determined by the number of rotations of the feeding wheel, and the number of teeth of the sector-shaped incomplete gear is to control the number of rotations of the feeding wheel. 弹簧 and large diameter circular sedimentation tanks in the treatment of industrial wastewater, to sweep the sludge that settles at the bottom of the tank and to remove the scum on the surface of the tank. The working principle of the sludge scraper. The drive installation drives the sludge scraper to rotate around the center of the sedimentation tank. After the raw water is settled in the sedimentation tank, the supernatant liquid is discharged from the overflow weir plate, and the sludge deposited at the bottom of the tank is scraped in a logarithmic spiral curve. Under the advancement of the plate, it slowly flows along the bottom of the pool to the local mud collecting tank, and is discharged through the mud discharge pipe. At the same time, the scum on the pool surface is concentrated in the area between the scum scraper and the scum baffle. When the working bridge passes through the scum discharge cylinder floating on the pool surface, the scum discharge cylinder is pressed under the liquid surface, and the scum passes through the scum discharge cylinder. The discharge cylinder is discharged out of the pool.